Hi, welcome to Box on the Box, Rock and Celluloid, Bot back for short. I'm over Box. So today I've got a bit of Box, talking about TV. Now, I'm reneging on what I said in my announcement about stopping Box Watch. I've just decided to do it sporadically. So rather than trying to do it every month or every 3 months, I'm just going to do it as and when I've seen enough stuff to make up. Hopefully not too long amount of time. So without further ado, I shall start with film, what I've been watching. Carry On Netflix. This is a Taron Egerton thriller. If you've not seen this is one of the best Netflix films in ages. I would certainly give it a solid 7 out of 10, maybe an 8. It was kind of following the Die Hard plot a bit, but done well. Really good performances from Danielle Deadwire and Jason Bateman and Taron Egerton. Couple hours long, stretches credibility but not too far, so I really recommend this. Also, we watched Emilia Perez on Netflix. I don't totally get this. It's a really interesting story idea, but it's also a musical. You can read up about the plots about it. It may get awards nominations, but I feel the tide's turning against it a bit. I can see why. This is an interesting crime film, but why have the songs in it, I don't know. You can make up your own mind. Also saw Sing Sing on video on demand. We paid for that. This is really good. This is about what's the word? Thing that started in Sing Sing prison, which is a prison in America. It stars Coleman Domingo. He's an actor, a guy who likes acting and is a prisoner. He writes as well, and they do drama. To help the prisoners kind of explore, what they've done and prepare for the outside world, I guess, give them something to do. It's just a quiet movie. It's really sort of economically shot, but it actually casts real inmates, former inmates who are part of the programme, and they all do a great job. And it's got a great supporting performance, a great lead performance. Colin Domingo, I forget the film he was in on Netflix. He played a civil rights leader, but he was better than the film. The film wasn't great, but he was excellent. He got an Oscar nomination. He's really good in this. I'm not sure it's Oscar-worthy, but very good. But the guy who's the main supporting actor, who's playing one of the main prisoners, he's really good. He could well get an Oscar nomination. It's a perfect supporting performance. He's like a reformed criminal who did the programme. Really good. So check that out. Also on Netflix, I haven't watched another film on Netflix, but Sky Cinema, I've watched Monkey Man, Godzilla times Kong, The New Empire, and The Fall Guy. So Monkey Man, this is Dev Patel's directorial debut. It's quite interesting. It's an Indian set action film. Monkey Man, or the concept for Monkey Man, is a kind of folk tale, I suppose, in Indian culture. It explores this pretty well. Really good. I'm guessing it's filmed in Mumbai. Really good depiction of the city. Lots of good directorial flourishes. Quite flashy, which often directorial debuts are. Dev Patel kicks ass in this. He totally goes all out in the fight scenes. It's kind of John Wick and then some. I give this a 7 out of 10. It was a bit too long. But it is good. It's worth checking out. Dev Patel has got a bright future as a director, I think. Fall Guy, I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. It opens up with a really cool long take. It's funny. There's really good chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. The plot's good fun. Aaron Taylor-Johnson's good fun. Wait for the end credits as well, because there's a great cameo at the end. And it got me thinking, well, why did this film not flop, but it actually grossed just under $200 million? I think it cost 130, so with advertising, its negative cost probably $250 million. So this film will have lost money. And I don't know, I suppose the Fall Guy TV show was a property that people my age would only know. And it's that other thing, it casts actors, although we might think they're young, they're both in their 40s or certainly late 30s. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. It's not a superhero film, they're not wearing tights. And I just think that's why it's difficult getting people to the cinema to see these kind of films, Also, I think the trailer it wasn't great, the trailer. It maybe did it a bit of disservice. But check it out. Maybe, because again, I give it a 7, maybe an 8. This is a lot of fun. Doesn't outstay its welcome. Godzilla vs Kong: The New Empire. So I had the misfortune to go and see Godzilla vs Kong at the Pictures, the one before this. I was expecting great things because it's Godzilla vs Kong, and I actually liked Kong Skull Island. The first Godzilla was all right. The King of the Monsters thing was shite, but I was like, right, they're going to face off, but it was shit. This is so bad, this film. It's even worse. What angers me about it is it wastes good actors like Rebecca Hall and Christ, the guy in Downton Abbey. Anyway, it'll come to me. He's in Beauty and the Beast. But it's just that thing where they're signing up for these, for the money. There they go again. But basically this film is a series of computer-generated action sequences with actors in live action sequences, maybe filmed in front of a green screen, delivering exposition. They're literally explaining what's going on because it's pretty incomprehensible. And I understand actors, it's a good payday, but you can lose respect a bit. Avoid this. Okay, and I saw Dear Santa on Paramount. Obviously, this is about out of date now. You're not going to watch it till next Christmas, but basically, this is a Jack Black Christmas film. The plot is simple. A kid who's got dyslexia writes a letter to Santa and he misspells his name and puts Satan. It's very funny. The two main kids in it, children, are really, really good. Not great actors, but I really like the characters. Jack Black's actually having a lot of fun. Does a really good job. And it's got a great cameo in it as well by another well-known comedy star. Pardon me. So, check this out next Christmas. I think it's a good, fun Christmas film. And then the other two films I've seen out the cinema, you'll see my Nosferatu review. There's Baby Girl starring Nicole Kidman and A Real Pain starring Jesse Eisenberg and Rory Culkin. Baby Girl, I give a 6 out of 10. I didn't like it that much. It's supposed to be, well, I don't know if it's supposed to be sexy. It's certainly not. Harris Dickinson's very good. Nicole Kidman's very good, as is Antonio Banderas. It's well directed with some great needle drops in it. Like it uses Robin Dancing on My Own and some cool kind of dance sort of tracks. But my main thing was it just left me cold, and then the Nicole Kidman character, a lot of the time you're like, why are you doing this? Why are you letting this guy, this young youth, treat you like this? You'd have to see the film to sort of understand the sort of mechanics of that. But check it out, but don't go to the pitch to see it. A Real Pain, this is another good little film like Sing Sing, directed by Jesse Eisenberg. Basically, he goes on a sort of holiday to visit Holocaust memorial sites in Poland with his cousin, played by Rory Culkin. I'm not going to what happened, but it's just a nice little film with very good performances. Jennifer Grey's good, Jesse Eisenberg's good, kind of like a modern Woody Allen. Actually, some people kind of compared it to kind of Hal Ashby films of the 70s. I could see that as well. But Rory Culkin is very good in this. I'm not sure it's a supporting performance, really, but he will get an Oscar nomination, and he may get the best supporting actor for this. He's already won a Golden Globe. Really good. So that is the films there. Quickly on to TV. Netflix, Squid Game Season 2, Diplomat Netflix, and La Palma on Netflix. Out of the Squid Game Season 2, although it's not as good as the first, it does manage to kind of find a way to move the story forward. The first 2 episodes are good, but it's once it gets into the Squid Game again that it starts happening properly. And it's really clever what they've done, how they've changed the rules of the Squid Game a bit. And it's got new games as well. So check that out. It's not a spoiler. It's got 7 episodes. It just finished on a cliffhanger. There will be a Squid Game 3. So not as good as the first, which very much caught the zeitgeist in the lockdown period, but still good, still worth checking out. And then La Palma is a disaster thing set on the island of an island off Tenerife. This is Swedish. This is quite good. It was just 4 episodes long, sort of 45 minutes episodes. Basically, there's a volcano on the island and it erupts. Yeah, really easy to watch. Quite good characters. Nothing special, but pretty good. The Diplomat, this is Netflix's political drama thriller with a bit of comedy in it with Kerry Russell and Rufus Sewell. The first series I kind of struggled with until the end when it got better. And this is a kind of a slow burn. But then it always has a sort of gripping ending. So I quite like this. It's got an odd mix in it. This is something I watch when there's not something else to watch. It's a 6 out of 10. I do quite like it. I guess if you liked the West Wing and things like that, you might enjoy this. Apple TV, Bad Sisters, Lessons in Chemistry, Silo Series 2. So Silo Series 2, I've yet to see the final episode. It's just dropped, but this has been really good. Still really like Rebecca Ferguson's performance. Good work in this by Steve Zahn as well. I like Silo. I think it's a good sci-fi, and it's smartly made. Keeps you guessing. It's not brilliant, but it's good. Bad Sisters. Loved the first Bad Sisters, and the second one didn't disappoint. Probably not as good as the first because Class Bang was so brilliant, but the five actresses, five actresses are so good. And Fiona Shaw's added into the mix here, and she's really good. So if you like the first Bad Sisters, you'll enjoy this as well. And Lessons in Chemistry. So this is like the real find here. So this has been in my sort of watch list for a while. This stars Brie Larson and Lewis Pullman. It's set in the early 60s. She plays a chemist who, because of sexism, can't progress. And she's a brilliant chemist, and she ends up being a TV cook, and she uses her knowledge of chemistry to explain what's happening when she cooks and how she uses chemical formulas and interactions to make her food better. But it's really good. Brie Larson's brilliant in it. You know, back to room quality acting. Lewis Pullman's really good in it. Son of Bill. Rainn Wilson's good. Supporting cast is all good. I'm really enjoying this, and it's a really good look at like attitudes towards women in that period without laying it on hard. You know, you'll get angry. But check it out. That's my recommendation. Big one. And of course, What We Do in the Shadows, Disney. I've watched the final series of that. Brilliant once again. There's a great episode where Steve Coogan does a cameo, does an appearance. He's absolutely brilliant. I've loved this show. Just one of the funniest comedies with brilliant work from the four main leads and great supporting performances. It's just consistently laugh out loud funny. If you've not seen What We Do in the Shadows, check it out. You can binge it all on Disney. It's brilliant. So usually I don't watch much on terrestrial TV, but on ITV I watch something called Playing Nice. So this starred James Norton and Neve, I've forgotten her second name. Anyway, she's an Irish actress. She's really good. Algar. And this is a really good a thriller. Basically, they both have premature babies, two couples. They get swapped, they get mixed up, and they end up with the wrong child. And 3 years later, a DNA test brings them into contact with each other, and it's like how they go about navigating having each other's child effectively. It's really good. It was entertaining. It's from the same author who did the book about the weird house. I forget what it's called, but that was made as a TV. It was like a sort of tech house. But anyway, yeah, enjoyed that. Okay, so yeah, that was definitely worth checking out. And briefly, documentaries. Sky and two on Sky. Alex Jones versus the Truth, and the Yacht Rock documentary. Alex Jones versus the Truth. Alex Jones is the guy who is really hard right, far right, conspiracy theorist type presenter on I don't know, some kind of public access TV. But he basically trolled the victims of a school massacre, primary school massacre. I forget the name of it. I mean, it's just absolutely heartbreaking what happened to these parents. And eventually they got so sick of his spreading of lies, basically saying that it was staged, that they took him to court. But it just shows you the world we live in, where people will speak untruths really to monetize what they do, and to stay in the public eye. Check it out. And then the Yacht Rock documentary, people criticise the term Yacht Rock. This explains how it came about. But this is interesting. It does interview a lot of the people from the Steely Dan era, Christopher Cross and so on. And you realise, what the great playing on this is, particularly for the musician, great production and playing. So I think that's worth checking out.
And then on Paramount again, I checked out a couple of, because we signed into Paramount just for a trial. Nothing but a good time. This is the hair metal docu over 3 parts, looking at that era of Poison, Warrant, and so on. It's pretty good. If you grew up in that era, you'll recognise a lot of the talking heads. And there's some interesting insight. There's a guy, the best insight is a guy from Tough. I barely remember Tough, but the guy who sung for them, and he's still doing it, he looked like Bret Michaels, and he really explains really why, you can sort of, look at the grunge thing, but really they ended up copying other bands, and you just ended up with a marketplace saturated. But that's interesting, worth checking out. Milli Vanilli as well. This is a documentary about Frank Farian, Milli Vanilli, the fake band that didn't sing on the records. Again, this is interesting. This really, if you're around music and that, it's not a shock, but a lot of Joe public don't realise the machinations of the music business. But sometimes, you hear records and the band won't play on it. Maybe they'll have the singer singing. In this case, the singers weren't singing, but Basic Rollers would be an example. They don't play on the record. Les McKeown would have sung, but quite often, producers just use session musicians. But this kind of opens all that up. I found it quite interesting, worth checking out. And there was Gary on Sky. It's about Gary Coleman. So when I was growing up, Different Strokes was a great thing you watched on your summer or Easter holidays. This was the comedy show. You had 2 African-American children adopted by a wealthy white man who had a daughter, blended family, and, comedy ensued. Obviously, it's very criticised now because of its the issues of a white saviour, so to speak. This was great fun, and Gary Coleman was just genius. He was so funny in it, but he really struggled after it. And this is an interesting documentary. It just it kind of gives you the scope of how big the show was. And how difficult it was for him to step aside from that, and due to his small height, he was kind of always that Arnold character. Check it out. And then Netflix, there was I Am Tim Avicii. So this is a documentary about Tim Berglund, Avicii, the top EDM producer, an artist who sadly took his own life a few years ago. This is interesting. I've seen another docu on him as well. Worth checking out. The only thing where I lost a bit of respect for him, he said he started learning guitar but couldn't be bothered. He obviously had music in him and it was easier to push buttons and that. Sorry, my muso thing coming out. But check it out. It's a sad story. It's really about like how when you're in demand you can overstretch yourself because there's that you feel that pressure, I guess, to take on more work. And anyway, watch it just quickly as well. It was Don't Die. Forget the subtitle of this, but it's Netflix. This is the guy, Brian Johnson, not of AC/DC, who is using his wealth. He's a billionaire. He cashed in, tech billionaire, to try and extend his life. So he's taking loads of supplements. He's using computers. He's doing a mad fitness program, diet, goes to bed at a certain time, loads of stuff. It's interesting from seeing like this guy's living like a monk, but make of it what you will. But I think it's worth checking out. It's only an hour and a half. Now I think that's everything there. There's a few other things I've seen, but those are the main things. Okay, under 20 minutes, a little sharper. Okay, so see you again soon, and remember to share and subscribe. Thanks very much.